We're going to read Chapter 4 of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This version is adapted by Debbie Guthery and illustrated by Jason Alexander. Chapter 4. The Rabbit Sends in a Little Bill. It was the White Rabbit looking around as it came toward her. She heard it muttering to itself, "The Duchess, the Duchess! Oh, my dear paws! Oh, my fur and whiskers! She'll have me executed. Where could I have dropped them?" Alice knew it was looking for the fan and a pair of white gloves, and she began hunting for them, but they were nowhere to be found. The rabbit noticed Alice and called out to her in an angry tone, "Why, Marianne, what are you doing out here? Run home this moment and fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan. Quick now!" Alice was so frightened that she ran off in a direction it pointed without trying to explain that she was not Marianne. She came to a neat little house, and on the door was a bright brass plate with the name W. Rabbit engraved on it. She went in without knocking and hurried upstairs in great fear that she should meet the real Marianne, who might tell her to leave before Alice had found the fan and gloves. "How strange it is," Alice said to herself, "to be taking orders from a rabbit." She found a little room with a table by the window, and on it were a fan and 2 or 3 pairs of tiny white gloves. She picked up the fan and a pair of the gloves and was going to leave the room when her eye spied a bottle near the mirror. There was no label this time with the words "Drink me," but she uncorked it and put it to her lips. "I know something will happen. I do hope it'll make me grow big again. I'm tired of being little." She grew sooner than she expected. Before she had drunk half the bottle, her head was pressing against the ceiling. She quickly put the bottle down and said, "I hope I don't grow any more." It was too late to wish for that. She went on growing, and soon she had to kneel on the floor. When she was too big for that, she tried laying down with one elbow against the door and the other arm curled around her head. On and on she grew. She put one arm out the window and one foot up the chimney, and that was all the room she had. "What will happen to me?" she said. Luckily for Alice, the little magic bottle had now had its full effect, and she quit growing. She was very uncomfortable, and it seemed that she would not be going anywhere for a while. After a few minutes had passed, she heard a voice outside. "Marianne, Marianne," said the voice, "fetch me my gloves this moment." Then came a little pattering of feet on the stairs. Alice knew it was the rabbit coming to look for her. The rabbit came to the door and tried to open it, but the door opened inward and Alice's elbow was pressed hard against it. Alice heard it say, "Then I'll go around to the window and climb in that way." "No, you won't," thought Alice. When she heard the rabbit outside the window, she spread out her hand and made a grab at the air. She did not get a hold of anything, but she heard a little shriek, a fall, and a crash of broken glass. Next she heard the rabbit's angry voice. "Pat, Pat, where are you?" And then she heard a voice that said that she had never heard before. "I'm here, dipping for apples, Your Honor." "Digging for apples, indeed," said the rabbit angrily. "Come here and help me out of this." There were sounds of more broken glass. "Now, Pat, what do you see in that window?" "An arm, Your Honor." "An arm? You goose, whoever saw one that size? Why, it fills the whole window." "Sure it does, Your Honor, but it's an arm all the same." "Well, it's got no business there. Go and take it away." There was a long silence after this, and Alice could only hear whispers. Then she went for a while without hearing anything else. Suddenly there was a rumbling of a cart's wheels and the sound of many voices all talking at once. "Where's the other ladder? I didn't bring but one. Bill's got the other. Bill, fetch it here, lad. Here, put 'em up in this corner. No, tie 'em together first. They don't reach high enough yet. Oh, they are fine." "Don't be particular here, Bill. Catch this rope. Will the roof hold? Watch out for that loose slate. Oh, it's coming down. Heads below." A loud crash. "Now who did that?" "It was Bill." "Who's to go down the chimney?" "Not I. You do it. I won't." "Bill must go down." "Here, Bill. The master says you need to go down the chimney." "Oh, so Bill gets to come down the chimney, does he?" said Alice to herself. "They seem to make Bill do everything. I wouldn't be in Bill's place for anything. This fireplace is narrow, but I think I can kick a little." She pulled her foot back as far as she could and waited until she heard a little animal scratching and scrambling in the chimney close above her. She said to herself, "This is Bill," and gave one sharp kick, then waited to see what would happen next. She heard everyone shout, "There goes Bill!" The rabbit's voice screamed, "Catch him, you, by the hedge!" Then there was silence, and then more voices. "Hold up his head, don't choke him. How are you, old fellow? Tell us all about it." She heard a very soft voice say, "Well, I hardly know, but I'm too worn out to tell you everything." "I hardly know, but I'm too worn out to tell you everything. All I know is that something came at me like a jack-in-the-box, and up I went in the sky like a rocket." "So you did, old fellow," said the others. "We must burn the house down," said the rabbit's voice. Alice called out loud as she could, "If you do, I'll send Dinah after you." There was a long silence. Alice thought to herself, "I wonder what they will do next." After a minute or two, they began moving around again, and Alice heard the rabbit say, "A wheelbarrow full will be enough." "A barrel full of what?" thought Alice. She didn't have long to think when a shower of little pebbles came rattling through the window. Some of them hit her in the face. "I'll put a stop to this," she said to herself. She shouted out, "You'd better not do that again." There was another long silence. Alice noticed that the pebbles were all turning into little cakes as they lay on the floor. This gave Alice an idea. "If I eat one of these cakes," she thought, "it's sure to make some change in my size. It can't possibly make me larger, so it must make me smaller." She swallowed one of the cakes. And was delighted to find that she began shrinking. As soon as she was small enough to get through the door, she ran out of the house and found a crowd of little animals and birds waiting outside. They all made a rush to Alice, but she ran away as fast as she could. She soon found herself safe in some thick woods. Alice thought, "The first thing I need to do is to grow to my right size again, and then I will find a way back to that beautiful garden." It sounded like a good plan, but she didn't have the slightest idea how she would do it. There was a large mushroom growing near her. It was just her height. She looked all around it and decided to see what was on the top of it. She stretched herself up on tiptoe and peered over the edge of the mushroom. Her eyes met the eyes of a large blue caterpillar that was sitting on top with its arms folded, quietly smoking a pipe.